Before I begin, I am not sure whether climate change is real or not, but we do know for a fact that the world has been changing climates all throughout history. This winter, all across the US, including here, we had record cold. And here, believe it or not, 3 weeks ago, we just had snow. Now, I do believe that man is causing warming, at least in the urban level. This explains why McCarran Airport has a 20-degree gap between day and night versus outer areas like Pahrump and Indian Springs, which is 30 degrees. And in McCarran Airport, nights used to cool down faster decades ago. The question is not whether climate change is existing or not. The question is, what are you going to do about it? Well, let me tell you something. Here is what I do not want. I do not want higher taxes and regulations among the average person. I do not want failed renewable energy programs like Solyndra and instigate redistribution scams. I suggest you to look at my home state of California. There are many businesses that are fleeing that state due to their environmental strict policies, as a matter of fact. And I just heard reports, believe it or not, that they are planning to ban diesel trucks. It certainly does not help our environment and emissions when you're flooding lots and lots of immigrants into your country every year. Now, make no mistake, I don't want to give my money to the Koch brothers, the oil fossil fuel companies. I drive a Toyota Prius, but I certainly don't want schemes to benefit billionaires like Tom Steyer and many Wall Street executives like George Soros. I do believe we have to reduce emissions. We can encourage more organic farming. And I myself, I'm planning lower emission planned neighborhood developments outside of the Las Vegas Valley where people can still own single family homes but reduce their car trips. There are alternative means to get this thing done. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We'll go ahead and go down here to Carson City. Anyone else wishing to testify in neutral, please come forward now.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, both committees, for the record, my
Vegas.
Cyrus Hojadi, 89148. One of the problems that we have to experience when it comes to environmental degradation and emissions, it's how we plan and design our communities. No, I'm not forcing everybody to live in packed centers, living close together and not owning cars. I believe we need alternatives to how we build and design our communities on the outer fringe. If we have planned developments that people will reduce the need of cars, let me show you an example. This right here is a single family home villa. If we have buildings more like this next together that could be shops, offices, and condos together, we can reduce car trips drastically. I also support mass transit, but it has to be cheaper and faster than the automobile. The same with renewables. It has to be cheaper than fossil fuels, cost effective. And I also believe that it should not alter the decisions of whether people want single family homes or not, because that is a large part of the American dream. Environmental programs must incentivize, not force people. And one of the reasons why people are spread out is largely due to our codes and regulations that help build neighborhoods like Summerlin, Green Valley, and so forth, and largely due to socioeconomic differences. See, every zip code is different by demographics. And by the way, I think emissions are going to fall regardless of whether these bills get passed, because technology is innovating. People like myself are buying cars like Toyota Prius and electric cars and so forth. And believe it or not, I was just at the LVCVA meeting with Mayor Caroline Goodman, and we were talking about a people mover system, self-driving cars. And I just have to say, what really gets me is that this idea of people of color. I'm Iranian American, and Iranian Americans don't tend to live in areas with high ranks of pollution. We're colored too. How do you explain that? And I don't support an environmental plan that is connected, from what I've heard, to United Nations programs, Agenda 21, Club of Rome, and the real people who are giving a lot of emissions are the people in China. Now, the bottom line is, there are other alternatives, but the bottom line is that, 10 seconds, please. The real problem is our monetary system that cares about profits more. Capitalism, socialism, communism, fascism, these are all flawed economic systems. They're never going to fully solve our environmental problems. Thank you. Cyrus Hojati, this amendment really doesn't affect me, but I do have some possible concerns about it, so I can't say that it will cause problems because I'm not sure. That's why I stay neutral. I'm a proud straight guy. I'm damn proud of it. I find the opposite sex very attractive. As long as this bill does not impose in my straight behaviors, everyday life, I am fine. And I believe that same sex or whatever, they have the right to be engaged who they want to be. Now, here's the issue with this, though. If you are in support of LGBTQ, then you should not be in support of massive numbers of people who believe in Islam radically to come into the state. Because I can tell you what, my parents come from a country, Iran.
So I need to keep you focused on the testimony at hand. If you're going to be neutral, it has to be regarding this bill, no other subject.
Okay, well, I am just pointing out that I hope this does not discriminate, because I've seen reports where many people who bake cakes refuse to do this to same-sex couples, and they have been slammed with lawsuits and fines. So this is really my concern. I am not happy with this trend of the last 50 years where males have been emasculated and females have been masculine more often. That's all I have to point out. Thank you. Well, I just have to point out I was very, very delighted when I heard the news about the transport system that's being proposed by the Boring Company. I was excited. I was jumping for joy. I was like, oh my gosh, we needed something like that so badly. And the fact that it's not just being done in the convention center, but it's going to be done across the strip, the stadium, and for heaven's sakes, the airport, because we really needed that. And hopefully it will connect to downtown. And I've heard some rumors, according to CNBC, that they're planning to connect this to Los Angeles. So this is some really efficient news. We need to clear up the traffic. Now the question is, what will be the state of the monorail? Could this pressure them to expand? Sure, it may do so. But then again, I like competition. It gets things done. And even if this project doesn't come through, it will encourage more similar projects to come along. I hope that this will extend to the outer fringes of the valley, including new outward developments, because we need to reduce our reliance on the car, hopefully to new developments that we can build 30 miles away. And this is going to be a really game changer. I mean, they're talking about extending this to Los Angeles. This could mean like 15 to 20 minutes. We could be another commuter town. Wow. We could be building a lot of new homes, people escaping the taxes and high cost of living. And if I were you, I'd buy some real estate right by the stations, because it's going to be a really exciting money-making opportunity. So best of luck to all of us. Let's get this through. I will do everything I can to push this forward. And thank you so much.
I really think it's about transparency and inclusiveness and integrity. I just think the reference to there's so many companies out there that really can deliver the goods. We should have been doing this for quite a while. You don't do it after you start construction, you put that in place first. And I'm just about our biggest industry, convention and tourism. We can't mess around. I was a little concerned.